When I started out my career, it was very turbulent because it was a turbulent time for the financial industry. And I worked in several banks that had issues. So I was almost always out of a job. 3 months into a job, then you're out, then you're up and down. And I got tired of it. And one day I told God that
you can't do this anymore.
How did you start? How did you even bear the idea even way back in school?
Yes. Say you're a leader of
tomorrow.
But then I would look at those people, they told us that when we were 10,
20, 30, 40, and they're still there.
So yes, I had a lot of energy and I wanted to do things a certain way, and I was rude here and I was doing that. Eventually, I was fired.
Were you able to use any of your knowledge in promoting your business?
It's so complicated because I'm such a multifaceted person. I mean, we started in England. Good Hair started in England. Eventually had to open something in Nigeria.
All hair is processed. You cannot take hair from a donor and put it into your head.
Once you're a public figure, you become a target.
Look at all the companies we started. We have board members from Nigeria, but also from around the world, because we want to build world-class companies that outlive us.
Welcome to Omon's Couch, an entrepreneurship and career talk show where we help young entrepreneurs and professionals reach their full potential. My name is Omon Odike, your darling host, and I'll be bringing you amazing guests who have seen it all to educate and inspire you with their stories. Our guest today is an acclaimed film producer and creative entrepreneur with a diverse background, holding bachelor's and master's degree in law and MSc in international human resource management. She's none other than Mrs. Winifred Mena-Ajakpovi. Let's welcome her to Omon's Couch. Wow, Winifred, I'm so happy to have you here today. You look amazing.
Thank you, Omon. And I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you.
Well done to the entire team.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I can't believe that you finally made it out of the US to be here on Omon's Couch. I know you came for other things, but you also intentionally came here to be on Omon's Couch today. Thank you so much.
It's really good to be here. Thank you for having me, Omon. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
I know.
I've watched almost all the episodes.
Are you serious?
It's amazing. Yes. A lot of learnings,
so
come out from the experiences that people share, honestly.
Wow.
So well done, guys. You need to watch Omon's Couch. If you haven't been doing that, you're missing, honestly.
Thank you so much.
Please keep
Coming
it
from
going.
you, my big sister, from the legal perspective to HR consulting and now to a media mogul. Oh! Yes, that is what you are. That's what you're going to claim.
You know what they say, when you get a compliment, you just adjust your shoulders
and own it. Well done. Thank you so much for coming. So right here, I have Winifred, who is here with me. She's my big sister. She's my good friend, who I've known for several years. Over, I think, 15 years at least, minimum, that I've known Winifred. And what I'm saying right now is I've seen a woman who has transitioned from being a lawyer, practiced for a while, moved on to the HR consulting business and being the top of the game in HR when you want to ask for any information concerning HR. And I joined HR after her. She's the go-to person. And not only that, I worked in 2 multinational companies where she was actually my boss. And I was servicing them and giving them service. And every time, all through, she supported my entrepreneurship journey. And I can't but say thank you and use this opportunity to say thank you, thank you, thank you. She never discouraged me. She never made me feel bad. Anywhere I was lacking, she would advise you, do it like this, do it like that. And she was truly remarkable. And now, such a person now pivoted to the media, just like that. And she no longer does HR. She's now a media director, a media guru, anything you want to call the media. Just imagine that. So let me not spill all the beans. She's here to tell her own story. Winifred, everybody wants to hear your story. How did you pivot from being a HR consultant, being a legal personality, into the media? And not just a media, an award-winning media personality.
Yeah, that's very important. That has to be. You have to offer your work with excellence. Really, that's it. So the short answer is I don't know.
You don't really know?
I don't
That's
know.
fine.
And then the long answer is that I believe that we all have many lives. Live all of your lives.
Yeah,
Live
I
as
hear
many of
that
them
from
as you
you all
can.
the
You know,
time.
it's inside of you already.
Different expressions of yourself.
Exactly. You know, everybody has, you know, their different expressions of yourself. So find them and leave them. So that's what I think that essentially I knew that I was born a creative. Poetry, drama, music, you know, they were all my things from school, yes, and all of that. But, you know, parental influence. Go and study law. I had to study law from my dad. Daddy, here's to you, right?
Yes.
So, and anyway, so that's it. Studied law, got into career, got into HR, management and all of that, and that was it. But inside of me,
You still had a burning.
I still had a burning.
Yeah.
And, you know, even all the years I was working as head of HR for different organizations, I often felt, so there were times I felt out of place, sitting in meetings, wearing suits, and what I wanted to do was something different, probably carrying camera, wearing shorts, and a face cap. You know, I kind of felt like, there were times I felt like an outlier,
Out of place,
you know, and all of that, yeah. But, you know, when you've been trained to author your work with excellence. I gave my all to my work, to my career. So probably to my colleagues, they probably never knew that I was struggling with all of that.
That identity,
because I was
to an
a
extent.
FICO, you know, if you know what they call an FICO, right? Yeah, but so I knew that I was going to do that at some point. So I think that the COVID year, you know, was a turning point for a lot of people.
That was your pivotal moment.
Yeah, that was when, you know, because we were home doing nothing.
Yeah.
I had a job then, and all of that, you know, so I had a long time to reflect. I kept myself busy at home by writing, you know. I'd always written poems, songs. There's a song I wrote in secondary school that my friends still tease me about, you know, and also I did a lot of writing. And so I guess that it was then, had a lot of time to reflect, and then I started thinking seriously about the entertainment space, you know.
So your creative
film, music.
juice was just waiting to be birthed, to come on.
I guess so. I think that during the COVID, a lot of people underwent a lot of changes. You know, I think things shifted for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it. That was when I made the decision. So what I did though, because over the years I had tried to change, but each time I said I wanted to do something different, my friends, everybody was like, "Are you crazy? Who walks out of a good job?" You know, and all of that. So this time around, I didn't tell anybody.
You just moved.
Nobody, I didn't tell anybody.
Shocked.
I just moved, you know.
I actually called her, I think at some point, they're like, Winifred, what's going on? Hey, where are you leaving? I'm here, I'm still here, stay on. You said no. I think your words were like, we all have different expressions, and that's why I repeated it of ourselves.
Yes,
and this is one
multiple
part
expressions
I want
of
to,
ourselves.
I want to relieve this part of myself. And I'm
Yes.
fine. And he kept on saying, I'm fine. Because I was worried that, were you okay? Are you fine? He said, yes, I am fine.
You know what they say, change happens, growth happens quietly in the dark. Sometimes, you know that description about you plant a seed?
Yes.
It's quiet, but down there,
Yeah, the roots are...
yes, something is happening.
Yeah.
So I kind of, you know, just stepped back out, and then I was focusing on building the new career. I just completely disrupted my career.
So how did your experience in law and HR shape how you see your current role in filmmaking now? How did that shape you?
You know, Omon, it's interesting that you would ask that, because now I almost feel like it's the perfect prescription. That if you, I never did. I mean, I never imagined it was going to come in handy. But filmmaking is a lot of things. But I find that it's law, it's human resource management. First of all, the project of film is really managing resources and the output is a creative product, right? So, but you manage people, equipment, money, locations, and all of that. So there goes my HR. I mean, every film set, you have at least 120 people. Wow. You know, at a minimum, and you have to, you know, you're the focal point, you're the producer, you're the CEO of that particular project, so you're responsible for everybody, from their welfare to finances to, you know, everything. So my HR days, I mean, I've heard the feedback a lot of times, oh, you're great at managing people. We fight on set, and I mean, you know, tempers rise, emotions and all that, and somebody has to be the calming factor.
It comes with the territory. Definitely.
And then the legal part, you know, I get to review all my contracts. Yes, I have a law firm supporting me, working with us, and all, but then there are times that things change on the go.
You do it yourself.
Oh yeah, I know what to do already.
So that you don't delay the process.
Exactly, and it just helps with negotiations, conversations, and all. So it just makes work.
You're also saying the same thing. Like, I think for some reason, I think some people will say I'm biased, and most of the ladies I've had on my show since the inception, I can tell you for free, I think 90% are all lawyers, coincidentally.
Wow.
I didn't pick them that way.
You are biased.
I'm not biased. It just happened. And every one of them say the same thing, but you have actually made it very practical. And it happens to me. I have 2 law firms backing me up, but sometimes they want the answer now. Yeah. So I just quickly read it up myself, and I was able to take decisions, and those decisions turn the game. Unlike waiting for 1 week, 2 weeks for one law firm to finish. When they finish, you send it to all that time wasted. The client may even think of somebody else, or go move somewhere else, or even change something not in your favor, you know. But having that knowledge is powerful. It's powerful.
I like what you said, and in your case, you know, it's such an advantage because you know your business, and then you know the law. So you're able, even sitting in meetings and having conversations, it's just helpful. So
extremely so.
I guess I'm grateful for that.
And no, you are an award-winning filmmaker.
Let's clap.
In your first year of the launch of your project, your first film, first everything. The 4444.
Yeah, that's
was it. You had nominations, several nominations. You were nominated in AMVCA as well as AMA. I mean, how did you feel about that with your first film? And I've watched it, so I know how beautiful it is.
Wow, Omon, honestly, let me seize this opportunity again to say a really big thank you to the team, AMA Awards and AMVCA. You know, to thank them so much for what they do for our industry, and of course, thank God. I don't know, but let's say...
Did you think you will win? Your first film?
I was confident that I had a good product. From day one, Omon, I didn't leave any stone unturned in making, you know, I had staked my career, my whole career for filmmaking. If I was going to make a film, I wasn't going to cut corners, no. So I asked a lot of questions. I rode on the shoulders of giants that had gone ahead of me, you know, without mentioning names. They know themselves. Thank you for supporting me, holding my hands. I did a lot of research, you know, and I just simply tried to, yes, not take the industry backwards, but at least make the industry proud for making, you know, no barriers to entry for newcomers and all of that. So I was very deliberate from day one. My question when I started was, how do you get an Oscar?
Wow.
Yes, I didn't want anything less.
That was your question before you even started.
Yes.
Viewers, can you hear the intentionality, the dream? Your dream was bigger than you, if you ask me, but you still dreamt it.
Yes. I don't know why, but I just said, you know, whatever is worth doing, you know.
Do it well.
I asked a lot of questions. I found out that the platforms have standards, certain standards you have to meet for your movie to be able to come, and you know, and all that. After all that, I said, okay, let's go, let's make an attempt.
And so tick all the boxes.
And so yes, at the end of the production, when it was time, because you have to send in your work for evaluation, I was confident to enter my work for as many opportunities as I felt, you know, I could participate in. Yes, we're open and all of that. So was I confident? I don't know, but I was confident that I had a good piece of product. I asked a lot of questions, you know, because I found out that, for example, the platforms have certain requirements, you know, type of equipment, type of camera to use and all of that for them to be interested in considering your work. So I played
to those small details.
Yeah, so I just sort of, all I did was just, you know, work to the prescription. And so when it was time to submit my work for awards, I was confident, you know, and all.
Something like this will happen.
With every sense of humility, and I'm not saying this to brag about it, I'm saying it to tell people to please learn to offer your work with excellence. No matter how small, whatever it is, you know, give the people who are going to receive the work or look at it, show them some respect by putting an effort.
Some respect.
It's
disrespectful
to people's time.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Show them some consideration.
This is even not even, you're even feeling sorry for those who have to go through
it's
horrible,
unfair. That's what I think.
content.
Yes, you know, sometimes I watch Something's Got Talent, you know, and I see the judges who have come prepared to evaluate the people who come to showcase their talent.
Yeah.
And then some acts are unbelievable.
Yeah, especially the Nigerian ones. Sometimes I think they're just for
Ama,
comic
you are
relief.
worse than me. You're even now bringing it home.
No. I think, no, there's this, is it Idol or something? And I'm like, I think
you
this
know,
person was intentional to just make
it's
just make
unfair.
a jest.
You know, it's actually unfair
It's
to the
funny.
viewers
Somebody
and
just
the judges.
and say they have sung and they as a
Exactly,
serious.
exactly.
Sometimes I feel that is intentional. It's not. They didn't come to actually do this thing. But
You know,
yes, you're
so
correct.
I think it's only fair to, you know, make a little effort.
Effort.
So.
Yeah. If you're enjoying this episode already, I want you to take a moment to please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave your aha moments in the comment section below. We would love to engage with you. Okay, let's get back to the show. Your profile mentions your role as a career disruptor. Can you elaborate on the time when the disruption led to a significant challenge? And how did you overcome it?
Well, let's just say a significant challenge. Let's just say, so I worked for many number of years, 23 years or thereabout, you know, and all of that. You know, the usual career hurdle. I think that my biggest career challenges were before and perhaps during my transition. Now, before, I think my career, you know, was a little bit late in starting out from school. My assumption was that from school, I had good grades. From school, I was going to get that good job in oil and gas.
Oh, that was
and all of that. My friends and I, you know, blue-eyed, leaving school, and so we all finished school, and everybody else got a job except Winifred.
Wow.
You know, 1 year, 2 year, 3, and all of that. What's going on? You know, and all. So it was rough.
In Lagos.
In Lagos, yes. I remember we had done the National Youth Service in Port Harcourt, my friends and I. Then we came down to Lagos and everybody got great jobs and Winifred didn't have a job, you know, and all of that. So it was a struggle. And then even when I did eventually find a job, it was a time when the Nigerian banking industry was very turbulent. So the banks were always having issues. In fact, my friends used to tease me. It was like each time I changed a job, the bank will fold up. So my friends would say, Winnie, don't come to our bank. Don't come and crash our bank.
Are you serious?
So that was the difficult time, really finding my career. But I think the good thing was those years gave me opportunity to kind of explore.
Yeah, to learn.
Yes,
and build
and
yourself.
kind of grow. Yes. So like Paul, I learned to abase and abound. But anyway, so eventually when I did start, you know, get the kind of job that I liked, I play a lot.
Is that the MTN one?
Oh no, I'd worked in a couple of banks before I got into the telco. Before I did FMCG, and then I did oil and gas. You know, that was my last role before So I deliberately moved around sectors. Actually, I did the financial sector, I did FMCG, I did telecom, I did, you know, and all of that. So when I did get a job, get my job, and then started my career, it was smooth for a number of reasons. Number one being, honestly, God helping me in my career. But I'm also somewhat, I said at the start that I'm what you call, in my school days, there was a term for efficient people that study all night, you know. Yes, I'm actually like that. When I'm onto something, my commitment is 110. So I was very serious with my career, you know, and also by God's mercy, that went well. But at the point when I transitioned and completely disrupted, in fact, it was one of the early interviews I had in my career that the lady had described that as a major disruption.
Yeah, it's a major disruption.
Going from corporate, you know, sector to films and camera and lenses and all of that.
For media.
You know,
I mean, till today, I'm still like, wow. Like, wow, not many people can take that leap of faith and believe.
I think it's your passion. When you want something bad enough, your passion, your hunger,
something was calling
overpowers
so
the
much,
fear. You know, that's it. So when I did make that disruption, it was a little bit tricky because I left my career at the peak of it, and then I got into something else at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't going to pretend. I wasn't going to come
no, that you knew it. You
like an executive.
Yes,
I came in like cap in hand, saying,
"Teach me.
Can somebody hold my hand?
Hold
I need
hold
to get
me."
this right. So it was a bit of a struggle because
and that's the right way to go.
Well, that was what worked for me, and if I do that again, I'll probably still work that way.
Yes,
people are different. Somebody else may just, I really don't know what. I'm just saying what works for you.
Yeah, it's your story, it's your authentic story. So. Yeah, but just understanding how business entrepreneurship works and even career works. If you don't have a knowledge about something, the best way to start is from the bottom. Not to show and brag or try to cover it up, because when you do that, people don't understand. They can see through it and just leave you to suffer by yourself. But you ask people, hold me, teach me, let me learn. And before you know it, look at you recording success immediately. Who can boast of that? Some people have been in this industry for over a decade and have no award, barely, maybe a nomination, maybe. But some do not have, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So it takes the special grace of God and somebody who is extremely intentional to get things extremely right. And I think you brought your ethical in legal, ethical in HR, because you know those two areas you don't, you hardly cut corners because people's lives are at stake.
Absolutely.
And you transfer that same efficiency into filmmaking and see your result. Amazing. Well done. We are not done with you yet. I'm going to ask you another question. Now you did your legal part. You did not even entrepreneurship. You're a career woman for a long time, from banking to telecom to FMCG to oil and gas, now filmmaking. How have you been able to balance work life? And your family, your children, your husband.
That's very cliche, right? That's an old question.
Yes, question. Okay, right. Let me now ask you about balancing. How do you do it all and do it well?
You know, like we said that at the start, there's multiple expressions of one person, right? Even you, I could ask you the same thing.
I've just started trying to be like you.
No,
just started trying.
That question, you should answer that question.
No, it's your question.
You're running a very successful HR consulting business. You're doing this, bringing out the best in people and empowering a lot of people out there listening to the story.
Thank you so much.
And you're a mom of lovely
4
children.
Kids.
4 kids!
Yes, 4. They've always been 4. They haven't reduced.
They will never reduce, please.
Amen. In Jesus' name.
So I think we thank, I think that women, first of all, I think that women, that's just the way we're built. Yes. You know, we're strong, and incidentally, this is the International Women's Month. You know, we've managed to change it from International Women's Day to month.
Oh,
so everybody knows it's a month-long celebration now. It's no more international.
Women are too much. We have like 20 Mother's Days in the year.
I'm telling you.
We still have a full month now, and we'll still find a way to create even more.
So if they're not careful, we're gonna make it
take the whole year.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's just beautiful. I think that women, and I'm not trying to sound cliche or politically correct, please, every woman, honestly, beat your chest, pat yourself on the back, because I think we were born strong. So I didn't think of it. I really didn't sit down and analyze, how am I going to do this? I just got on with the business of the day. So I'm a mom of 3. Like, you know, 3 teens. I've been married for, we're 20 years this month.
Hey,
Romena, I hope you're hearing.
Hey, congratulations.
And then I've had my career. So I was just juggling, you know, all the balls, you know. And all
so, but do you have support system, at least at some point, with the children, especially when they were growing up in the earlier years?
So I remember, well, of course, my family, my husband and I, we're both career-minded people, you know, so we understand and we support each other. My husband travels a lot, and I feel in the gap when he's not there, and so same.
He does when you're not there.
And all that. And then
he's
know the way Nigeria is.
So which works? He's a hands-on dad.
He tries, 30%. You know, and then you know the way Nigeria is. You know, we our culture. You always have family and all that. And then in the earlier days, I traveled a lot with my kids and my domestic staff. I remember my friends would call my domestic staff executive staff. Which country are you going to this year? You know, and all of that. So when I was raising when they were smaller, I traveled with my kids everywhere. If I had to go anywhere, I went with my kids. I'm a hawk of a mom. My eyes always on my kids.
You can't leave them.
I don't think anybody can do it better. Not even Mena. Mena, sorry. You know, so
it's okay. I'm sure he understands.
Carried them everywhere. I remember a day when I was working in the bank, and my child was in the creche, and the creche closed, and we had to work late in the bank. I brought her because I didn't trust the staff that I had. I didn't want to leave the child with the staff, and I insisted that they came to the bank, and I asked for permission from my boss for them to wait in the bank so I could keep my eyes on. We were there till 11 p.m.
Wow.
And at some point the child was wailing, and everybody knew Winifred's child was in the bank, you know, and all of. Anyway,
see all the sacrifices that we do as mothers.
So I just kind of just managed.
And look at where you are now. They are not all adults in schools, and now you're free to fly and spread your wings, and it's amazing. And they've turned out to be very good humans.
Well,
for the society.
I'd like to think so, thank God.
You have a book called Life Unusual, which suggests a unique perspective of pursuing passion. Could you share how this philosophy has influenced your entrepreneurship journey?
Whoa, so Life Unusual is a bit of a personal story, because, I mean, based on my conviction, you know, so it's kind of faith-based, and how really whatever we do is spiritual. Now, whatever anybody's, yes.
Oh, okay.
So whatever anybody's convictions are, if your conviction is some deity, some God, hold on to it. My conviction is God.
It's God Almighty.
And I try to bring out the influence and the fusion between that. I have a really, my career success story is nothing short of a miracle. And I'm going to and so I built on those principles to say that work, career, business, everything you're doing is spiritual. Yeah. You know, and all of that. And I shared my own insights. Now, the summary of what, like I said, when I started out my career, it was very turbulent, because it was a turbulent time for the financial industry. And I worked in several banks that had issues. So I was almost always out of a job. 3 months into a job, then you're out, then you're, you know, up and down. And I got tired of it. And one day I told God that,
can't do this anymore.
No, I don't want that. Please give me one more
that
job.
Will stay.
And if you give me a job, I'll do A, B, C, D, and all that, you know, and all of that.
You made a covenant with God.
Yeah, and I did. And I said I didn't want to ever have to look for a job again. And that's the story. So after I did that, honestly, the next job I got, I was sitting peacefully in my house. I got a phone call from a company I never applied to, and they made me an offer, you know. And after that, I was asking, how did you guys find me, you know? And then after that, when I needed to move, I was sitting on my desk. I got a call from another company, and I got the job. And when I got into that company, I realized they had like 22 people for the interview.
Wow.
All internal candidates. I was the only one external person.
And they gave you the job.
And the day I went for the interview, I fell ill, I lost my voice. So I just went there and said, let me explain to them and show them so they could see, and then ask for a date. So I got there and I said, I want the job so much, but I can't talk. I just had to come. And they said, oh, it's okay. Just we'll ask you a few questions and you write. And so they gave me 1 or 2 questions and I wrote, and that was it. I got the job.
As you were ill, your voice wasn't clear.
And
they had
the
other
21 candidates
and
were
they
all
selected
internal.
you. That is a beyond
I got the
miracle.
job. I started working there. There was no promotion system in that company. You had to go up. Anyway, I moved a lot of times, and each time I got a phone call. Do you want to move to this? Do you want, you know? So. And I saw the fusion.
So God kept his covenant with you.
Yes, honestly. I mean, it probably sounds like a story to somebody who has a different belief system. You know, up until when I went into filmmaking, I was
you even stopped somewhere. You got a call from me about another job. Join us on Omar's Couch, where inspiration meets action. If you are a remarkable entrepreneur or a career giant with a unique story to share, we want to hear from you. Become our guest on Omar's Couch and empower others with your journey, experiences, and valuable insights. Use the link provided in the description below to apply for yourself or nominate someone who deserves to be on this show. Let's inspire together. You didn't look for the job.
Exactly, you remember.
And I chose just you for the position.
Exactly.
And the job was yours.
And that's how, you know, the one that shocked me, the last job I did, I got a call. Again, I didn't even know about the company. Had a conversation with the consultants, and they said they were going to set up a meeting for me. And so I was looking out for the email. Sweetheart, honestly, I hate to say this, but the next email I got was an offer letter.
Wow.
It sounds ridiculous, right? I'm really embarrassed because, but
that's what happened.
That's what happened.
I'm a living testimony. I called you and I said the job was for you. And it was an international company, and they interviewed you from South Africa,
Remember.
not here in Nigeria.
That's,
and they
remember.
gave you, how would I remember? I was the one who called you for
So
the
I
job.
just tried to bring out how that life really is spiritual.
change,
So whatever you do, listen
and
and try
you can
and
make
infuse your
covenants. I
faith.
think what I've picked from you is that even when you're having those terrible times and things are not working in your favor and things seem to be falling apart, what you took a step to the positive direction. You didn't dwell in it or dwell in it, and you went spiritual. You asked God, if you do this for me, that's a covenant, I will do X, Y, Z. People don't understand what covenant means. Covenant, you're stating what clearly this is what you will do. And God always honors his covenant. Always. And it's a clear indication from everywhere you went to, you barely or never even had to ask for the job. The job was handed over to you. So he kept his covenant till today.
Into filmmaking.
Yes, and he's there with you and he's seeing you through. Well done, Winifred. We are not done with you. We still have some questions with you. We have a lot of youths who are here who are in the career part, which you have shared. We have some who are going into filmmaking and do not understand how to even start. And I think for them, because we have a lot of creative and a lot of creative minds in Nigeria, a lot of them, but they don't know what to do. She's an example. She started, won an award the first time. Some of them will be saying, oh, she has connections. Maybe she has this, she has that. Please advise them. Tell them, how can they start? If they feel they have a talent, because you had a talent, and that's what you shared through your film, 4444. Tell them, how can they start? What are the tips in their own little way, with very little resources? How can they start a business or a production company?
You know, honestly, I thought about that somebody might look at me and say, oh, she had the network. She had the...
I know.
It's not always correct that you have everything to start with. You know, I realize that it's the truth. It sounds really cliche, but honestly, everything you need is inside. You really don't need anything to start. It starts from the mind.
Yeah.
So when you're convinced about something and your mind is made up and you're ready to go for it, the confidence you exude. So even when you're talking to someone to sponsor you or support you, they can feel the confidence. They can feel, I don't know how to put it.
It's infectious.
It's easy. It sort of makes a way, right? And then when you're convinced about something, your passion is so strong that it overcomes the fear, the doubts, and everything else. That's all you see. So my advice would be, honestly, just try it. Decide that you want to start something. Break it down into little steps. The first step could be, let me pray. The next step could be, let me ask somebody
who has been
what do I do? The next step could be, let me just have a meeting. Just that it's from asking and moving in the circle, and you find that somehow, you know, you find a way to what you're looking for. I'd like to hold the hand of somebody who wants to start something, honestly.
Guys, you've heard her. She's giving you free mentorship, and she has asked in on Almost Count that she's going to give it to you. So please be intentional and take this opportunity. So go to her page, Winifred Unusual, on Instagram. Send her a DM and say you have watched the show, Almost Couch, and tell her what you want, and I'm sure she would be able to take it from there. Please do not waste this opportunity. Be intentional, go for it. Bye. So we go back to Winifred. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the show. I'm enjoying everything you've said. It now even gives me an idea that maybe I have another expression of myself. I have not even discovered.
Oh, you have too many expressions.
No, I just have two. So I have three. I have just three. See,
no, I hope you added, mentoring to it. Empowering other people through this, your platform.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Omon.
Thank you so
Honestly.
much. Thank you so much. You know, sometimes when you're doing some things, you don't really look at it as something. It's other people who see it for you. You know, I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it. But the intention, which I mentioned to you, was to actually give back to everyone, not just the young ones, because a lot of people are confused in business and even in their careers, and because the dynamic of the economy, the global economy, the local economy, everything is shifting. So people need to just hear from people. What can they do differently, and in their different industries. That's why I have different people. You're a filmmaker, tomorrow somebody is here from FMCG, tomorrow the person is a hair maker, tomorrow the person is an executive in an oil and gas company. So they get to hear anyone that resonates with you will stay. And when your word is here, you will get your word.
Exactly.
So I believe in God that people who are watching will get some blessing that will propel them to greater heights through the show. So that's why we do the show, and that's why we enjoy it.
Well, thank you.
So thank you so much.
Show.
I'm not yet done. I have to ask you your question.
Sure.
Can you share your success story from your Switch 360 mentoring program?
Oh, okay. Let me see. And that is a platform that gives me a lot of joy because it helps me to give back. And I just started it to help people like me because 3 years back I was on the verge and wondering how do I cross. And now that I've done that, I run into, come across a lot of people that are thinking. Yes, and the fear is always how do I leave certainty for uncertainty. Yes, you don't have to be, careless, but you have to be brave. Yeah, right. So that's what I use that platform
all about.
for.
Just telling them they can do it.
Yes, so I've had to
going through the right path, not just
exactly
taking a jump without even know where you're landing.
Or leave your job and
and you go back to ground zero.
So I think one exciting thing was one, I had a young lady who came on board and she, had always played support roles in movies, but she wanted to produce. She eventually produced her first movie, and I'm so grateful for that. And
but
one that really, touched me was, would you believe, so my teacher in high school, and this was like 100 years ago, so you can imagine, yes. He was very brilliant, very, really, even as kids, we knew that he was gifted. And his dream was to be on stage and in the films and all of that. But
he was in the arts.
Yes, very smart. I think that honestly he contributed to making,
today.
So
you made an impression on you.
Yes, that I never forgot. So I found him. I hadn't seen him since I left high school 100 years ago, and I found him, and I was able to help him fulfill his dream of being
on the stage.
He had retired and moved back home and just generally living a gentle retirement life and all that, and I pulled him out and we worked together, and he was on my last movie and he had put up a brilliant performance.
Wow. So he was still that good?
Very good, honestly.
Even with age and everything.
We gave him an age-appropriate role, yes. Yeah. But seeing his dream come to, he didn't think it was going to happen. But together, working with him, a lot of talking, coaching, hand-holding, and all that, and we made it. And he featured along, some of our A-list artists. And I'm looking forward to seeing that work. And I'm still working with him, partnering with him to make sure that he really exhausts himself.
Everything, just bring
that
out
we tap everything,
Well done. That is such a beautiful story. That's a beautiful story of impact. Even intentionally remembering somebody you had. Oh, it's not even worked with. Somebody who taught you in your earlier years.
I just didn't want to see all that talent
was really,
waste.
really beautiful of you to even have remembered at all. That's beautiful. So now, what is the need now for Winifred into the future as a filmmaker? Do you have projects in the pipeline? Do you want to share some of the information and insights as to what we have to expect in the years to come? Or next year, or even this year. So let me even be so current. This year, what are we expecting this year? Because we need a new movie.
Yes, so we have something that we've submitted for,
consideration.
QC, and all of that. So again, I can only but be optimistic that I've done a good work. By
God's grace, you will do well.
And all that. So that hopefully will come out this year. It's called, should I be saying the name?
No, if it hasn't come out, I think you can still keep it over under wraps.
So,
yes.
So
we have a new film we're expecting
this year. We're going on set in 2 weeks to work on another project. Now, I love to tell true stories, so I actually look out for true stories that are inspiring and all of that. And then we also
So that's
we actually have a
area,
slate, a full slate.
in a way.
Say that again.
I said that would be your niche area. Like you don't look for fiction. You like working with true stories.
Yes, so far, yes.
Stories.
All the films that I've done have been, because I find that the platforms like our African stories, they want to see our culture, the way we live, move, work, and also
I find story always resonates with people.
Yeah, because I think that someone can learn something from it,
It's not vague. You can see yourself somehow, somewhere. in it.
Yeah, so we actually have a full slate. You know, I have a slate of films to last me up to probably 2026. Ideas that we've put down and developed.
That's a lot.
I want to be very busy. I'm doing this with my full chest.
Full chest, yes.
So,
after pivoting from career, filmmaking is your life now.
Yes.
Are you going to change yourself in another chameleon? Are you going to change into something else? Who knows?
I'm not sure, but like I always say, live all of your lives.
Yeah.
Okay, live all of your lives. So if something else pops up, it would. I'm sure it will have to be in the creative space.
Still, yeah.
It will definitely have to be related to this. So that's
5 to 9 is forever gone for now. Okay. Now, Winifred, I've had a wonderful time having you on our couch.
Thank you.
I've loved every minute of it and all the learnings, and I'm still learning. And I've just told myself, I think I still have some expression of myself I want to express. But leave that. We'll work on that later. But now, the viewers and the audience who have been listening to us, give us your last parting words of encouragement for them. What would you tell them?
Well, I don't know if it's encouragement or if it's small. I'd actually like to thank the people who watch, who listen. It's really because of you that we're deliberate about who we become. So really, my last words will be to say thank you, because it's when I know that there are people watching that I shape up and I don't break down when I feel like.
Encourages.
If nobody was watching, if you were not watching or listening or commenting or or even me imagining that people would have something to say. There'll be no
the criticism
standards.
is something, yeah.
Honestly, so you bring a lot of value by encouraging in your own way. So thank you, and as you do that, may God bless you. May
Amen.
God fulfill your life.
Amen.
Those will be my words, really.
Thank you so much. We've heard it all. Winifred has been on our couch, and she's been here with a lot of knowledge and impact for all of us. So now you know you can do anything, everything is possible. And don't feel that because you are doing a 9 to 5, you cannot become a creative, you cannot become a filmmaker or even an actor, an actress. So many. You are limited by your own desire. So please take up anything. Now is a world of multiple stream of income, multiple everything. So please take the opportunity and be intentional, and you can do it. Another thing now, we are going to the fun segment of this show. It's just a trivia question. It's not going to be too hard.
Oh my
Winifred
God.
Ajakpovi, maybe you would actually get it, who knows. So please, the question goes like this. Nigeria is divided into 36 states. Which one has the largest area? This is geography.
My states.
Okay, well,
Yes.
it's just your state anyhow.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
It's my state.
It's just your state.
And
that state is Imo. Am I correct?
Anambra State,
Yeah.
which is actually one of the tiniest in the map, right?
Anambra State.
I'm not sure actually, but I do think that the north has very large expanse of.
Okay, you're kind of partially correct. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the answer?
The answer is Niger State.
Yay! I'm correct. Not
correct.
partially.
You got the region, so you didn't get the state. Well done, well done. We've had Winifred on the couch. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, it's really been my pleasure sharing my story and encouraging myself in the process. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for watching Omon's Couch. I'm sure you're eager for another inspiring story. So click here to watch another episode or click here to subscribe. I will see you in the next video.